Hey, everybody, and welcome to another episode of the Sell More Book Show, episode 639. This is going to be a great week. So excited. Some of you were on the call yesterday when I launched my latest Kickstarter project. I hadn't done one since 2023. This is called Booked for Life. I'm very excited about it as I go see Rocket the Cat rooting around in my cabinet. This is a project for a book that is helping nonfiction authors to help fill their business, whatever it is that their nonfiction book is promoting, whether it's coaching or courses or services. But also, we are including essentially a special Christmas in July sale as part of the campaign. So, really, you can get anything and everything you want, which is a beautiful thing. So, that is over on Kickstarter. We'll have the link to the Booked for Life campaign. Go check it out. Folks, I love that we had so many opportunities the last few weeks to do the show live. It's a little bit sad that because of timing and everything, we haven't been able to do it live, but it is July. There is, we're coming up on the halfway point of summer. Some people have a summer slump. Some people sell way more copies during the summer. So, whatever situation you are in, just remember that year-on-year data is your friend. If you know that July is a challenging time of year for you, do not make this your kitchen sink month where you do everything possible to get the sales up. If July has historically been a rough month for you, maybe you are doing some planning for the fall or the winter. It is okay to plan and regroup. We've got a top story of the week. Take back your book description. AI is reading your book page before humans do, according to Jane Friedman and DigiDay. Remember when your Amazon book description was there for your reader? Well, now it's there to tell AI what to tell your reader. Like a typical kid's game of telephone, the actual message gets delivered poorly. Many AI web scrapers aren't good at understanding human readable data the same way that we do. And that goes for book sales pages too. For instance, many authors and publishers list awards and critical reviews in book descriptions right at the top. But this isn't relevant for AI, says book consultant Cameron Lennon in an interview in Jane Friedman's Bottom Line. You're linking yourself to books that aren't the same as yours. End quote. And confusing AI into connecting your book to books with totally different readerships. Instead, Lennon recommends restructuring your book description in a way that tells readers and AI exactly what the genre name is, tells them the comparable authors, and describes the reader experience. In addition, author websites have become increasingly important because it's a way to give AI more information in the way that you want it presented. Quote, use clear headings, add the full publication history, and include ISBN numbers, Lennon said. For more tips on how to teach AI who your book is for, some examples of changes you can make today, check out the link in our show notes. So, AI and book descriptions. We've seen some interesting things with what AI has done to categorize books and even Amazon's internal AI settings for those books. We've seen some interesting things like books getting classified as the wrong genre. I've always been a big advocate for putting your genre in your book description. This is one of the reasons why we have the selling paragraph in every book description we write for Best Page Forward. We always recommend this. Having the book description in there can make a huge difference. And so we're having the selling paragraph that mentions the genre can make a big difference. I've always recommended that if you have a quote of a book review from a publication that everybody knows in your genre, it's worth including, but it's rarely worth including. I am not a big fan of review quotes in blurbs. And technically, if you want to get technical about it, it's actually against Amazon's terms of service to use Amazon review quotes in your book description. So those are some of the things I agree with from this one. I'm not certain that you want to necessarily mention the comparable authors. I've tended to avoid that. But I'm a big fan of mentioning the tropes, for sure. And I have a feeling that including the tropes in your blurb, especially in that selling paragraph, can be helpful. So, here's a question for the hot potatoes of wisdom. I doubt readers are looking for my books in search engines. Why should I bother optimizing my book description for AI searches? Do you need to optimize your book description for AI searches or just in general? It's possible that in general, you just may want to make sure that your description is doing the heavy lifting it needs to in order to actually train Amazon or AI or whoever on what your book actually is. I think that's the more important part. Second question, when working on my book descriptions, how do I balance what Amazon wants and what AI wants with what my human readers want? I still recommend leaning into the human readers. Something I've always talked about with blurbs is you want to not just share plot points, you want to share the customer, you want to share the character's emotional journey. I've seen too many blurbs where a character's like mom is kidnapped or something, and the character has no reaction to it. They take action, but they don't have an emotional reaction to it. Y'all, we need to know as readers that these characters in this book have emotions. And so I think you lean into the humans on this one. What common mistakes do you see authors or publishers making in their book description? Just mention the genre, y'all. Too many people are not mentioning the genre. I highly recommend it. Let's go into the lightning round. I keep hearing it's important to find comp titles, but my books aren't like the other books. How does comparing them to other books help my readers? Honestly, I think it helps you. Because most readers, if you're not selling, I mean, you know, if you're not selling, then you need to go and find some, for your next book that you write, you need to figure out some comp titles ahead of time. I gave this advice to someone at a conference a few years back, and I've given it many times since. If you can't find 10 books that are similar to yours, it's going to be hard to find 10 people to buy them. You need there to be some similarity to other books out there because readers buy based on what they bought before. Second question, I have trouble getting started every time I sit down. Once I'm going, but sometimes I just can't start. Any suggestions? Train your brain. Sit down at the same time every day if you can. Go to the same place if you can. Trigger your brain in other ways. Maybe you light a candle or smell the same fragrance every time. This is going to start training your brain that this is the time to get down to work, and then you're going to do it. Third question, how do you turn a one-time reader into a lifetime buyer? Get them onto your email list. Maybe there's a link at the back of the book going to a special epilogue. Maybe you're retargeting people in some way, shape, or form from your Facebook sales ads to your Facebook email newsletter. You want to get them to join your email list. But let's say that's not an option. You need to make sure that they have the ability to buy the next book right away. So if that's a link to a pre-order, fine. If that's a link to the next book in a series, fine. That needs to be in the back matter of the book. Get them hooked. If they read 2, they're a lot more likely to be hooked than if they read just 1. Fourth question, what's a writer habit that can sabotage the CEO version of an author? I think it is this need to be so precious with our art when the CEO knows that every book we put out is a product. Some products are not going to sell as well as others. And if we try to advertise everything equally, we try to market everything equally, we are going to be missing out. Last question of the lightning round. What is the difference between trusting my author business and blind faith or scattershot tactics? The difference is data. You need some data. You need to show that if you are marketing a certain book, that it's going to give you a return. If you do not have any data or have any means by which to collect the data, you need to start finding a way to collect that data. Blind faith is not going to help if you don't have some evidence. You need the evidence to back up the faith. And when you've got both evidence and faith, mountains can move, my friends. Y'all, I just want to remind you, Booked for Life Kickstarter, go check that out. It is now launched. Hopefully it is doing incredibly well. My EA Amy would say, of course it's doing well. We need a question of the week here. Let's see. I will ask. How do you turn your one-time readers into lifetime buyers? Your one-time readers into lifetime buyers. I would love to know the answer to that question. You can answer over at Sell More Book Show website or at the Sell More Book Show After Party Facebook group. Guys, it's always a pleasure to chat with you. Thank you so much for listening. I hope you have an amazing week of book selling, and we'll talk to you next week for episode 640. Bye.